In the early afternoon slot?
I mean, obviously it can work both ways. I mean, the conditions are physically much more draining like at that time of day, so you know, I played every match here and in Indian Wells, right in the heat of the day, pretty much. Obviously played a couple of earlier ones in Indian Wells, are still extremely hot by 11:30, 12 o'clock there. But the benefit is that you're used to the conditions, and the conditions in the evening are different. I think there's obviously more benefit if the final is the following day. You see that a lot in the American tournaments in the build up to the US Open. The player that plays a second semi-final because there's no day off. We tend to find it trickier. But here with a day off, at least you can obviously practice the following day in the conditions you can put in matches.
Andy, what happens tonight? Do you go back over to Brickell and just chill out, or?
Yeah, I'll just go back and recover basically, and get a lot of food down here. I'll have a nice bath. I'll see my physio and get a stretch and a massage. I think that's it. It's been a long, really 5 or 6 weeks for me, so I'm just trying to conserve as much energy as I can just now. I have some days off next week to relax.
You don't run back like a commercial, do you?
No, not today. Not today.
Andy, you might have answered that question before, but how do you see the French challenge in Davis Cup? And have you gotten a little closer to the French players since you have Emily along your side?
I've always got on pretty well with a bunch of the French guys. Some of them retired, but I always got on very well with Grosjean, got on well with Santoro. I grew up playing juniors with Monfils, so I always got on well with him. Songa, we pretty much came on tour at the same time, and I've gone over to Paris to practice with him in the past, and I've practiced more with Benito. Obviously, Annalise, old coach is Benito, so I've practiced with him a bunch, but most of the French guys I've always got on pretty well with.
And do you see grass as a good surface, considering that the French reached semis? Tonga was in the semis, Biscayne in the semis. Is it, in your mind, the best surface to play on?
I would say that they have maybe less options on that surface. I mean, obviously the depth in French tennis is pretty amazing. But I feel like on hardcore, I mean, all of them play well on that surface. And for someone like Monfils, for example, he plays well on all the surfaces, but his biggest asset is his movement, and on grass it's a lot harder to move like he does. And I don't think Gasquet has such a good record in Davis Cup. But he plays exceptionally well on grass, and Simon, who plays very well indoors and on hard courts, isn't as comfortable on the grass. So I feel like it would maybe reduce the options slightly for them, but they still have obviously fantastic players, and whatever surface we play on is going to be extremely difficult for us.
Andy, two very familiar potential opponents in the finals that you played at big matches with very, very recently. He was way up to.
Sorry, shall I repeat it? Yeah. The two potential finalists are players very familiar with you. You're very familiar with. Can you just weigh up? You've had big matches against the two lately. Can you just weigh up the pair of them?
Yeah, well, I think John's obviously started to play very well almost since the Davis Cup. I think he spoke a little bit about the sort of the way that he approached the match against me. There's more of kind of how he wants to try and play. He was extremely aggressive in that match and really going for the shots, and it's obviously translated into some good results for him in Indian Wells and here. And then Novak's obviously started the year extremely well, obviously winning Australia and then also last week too. And he's come through a couple of tough ones so far in this event. But yeah, obviously both of them, they're completely different players, but this tough matchup with the Herald.
Andy, because of the fact that you know this course so well, the success you've had here over the years, do you approach a final over here any differently to anywhere else?
I don't know if I would. No, I don't think I'll approach it differently. I just think I've obviously played some good tennis here over the years, and the reason for that is because I'm extremely familiar with the conditions, with the surface, with the way the court plays. You know, there's little things in the court that maybe players that haven't played on it that much won't really know. But because I practice on it all the time, I know how the ball bounces in certain areas and which serves work into certain spots on the court and how the ball responds off different spins. So that's why I feel comfortable on it.
How difficult was the sun, cloudless sky, and the heat today?
Yeah, the sun is extremely difficult from one end of the court. I mean, both of us struggled on our serve from that side. So the court decided we come on to the court where we walk out the far side, the side I was sitting on. The sun was basically right in your eyes for pretty much the first hour of the match. Sometimes it's there on the juice side, sometimes it's on the outside, but it's right there, so it's extremely difficult to serve. And then yeah, it's hot and humid and a little bit windy at times, and it's challenging conditions here pretty much every year I've played, so it was